So we've had several episodes or videos where we talk about the importance of deciding where you want to retire in, especially if you're looking to relocate. And a lot of that discussion is based around states that have zero income, states where your income goes farther, and states where they have more affordable health care. But today I would like to go over some information I found on a recent article where they talk about your total tax burden. And that means that they're talking about your income tax, your homeowner's tax, property taxes, and then local taxes and what I think they called it indexes. Anyway, this is your total all over tax rate that you're going to take of your income that's going to get spent on this state if you live there. And now, of course, if you don't own a home, then property taxes won't be effective. If you're going to rent, then that's irrelevant. However, it's important that we understand what we're getting into financially when you're going to go to one of these states. Now, I've got the rankings, the top 5 that are the best states with the lowest total tax burden. And then I've got a few the bottom 5, the worst tax burden. And I want to start with the bottom 5 first because I think it's important to understand, how they differ and see the real differences. So, in order of worst to better than worst, and I say that weirdly, but meaning the absolute worst state, and you could probably guess this one. It's really not that hard to figure out. It's Hawaii, and for obvious reasons. It's a small state. It's got obviously some of the best environment in the world. It's expensive to own, expensive to buy, expensive to build, expensive to ship everything there. So Hawaii comes in at number 1. Their total tax burden is 13.92% of your income. Okay. Number 2, not a surprise at all for me, New York. The total tax burden in New York is 13.56. And New York stood out in this list. Not because they're the second worst, but also because their total local taxes and indexes and indices and the add-on things. Hawaii stood out because they had the worst property tax numbers. New York has the worst local taxes for everything else. Moving on. Number 3 was Vermont with 11.53%. Also, not really much of a surprise. And I got a little catch-all I'm going to give you here in between these. Number 4 is California. Also not a surprise. We know that California is one of the worst in the country for taxes and tax burden. Their gas taxes, outrageous. Thankfully, Illinois, we've been working real hard to get to number 1. And, unfortunately, they didn't make the top or the bottom 5 in this list, but they're number 7, just to give you a heads up. And going on to number 5, another really not much of a surprise, is Maine at 10.24%. And I've heard that in Maine, it's very expensive to do a lot of things outside of your property taxes. The local taxes can be extremely high, school taxes, etc. Now, the small caveat I wanted to throw in here that was part of this, and comes from the article from WalletHub. This is not my take on it. This is their presenting the facts. Red states are lower than blue states when it comes to total tax burden. Not a whole lot of a surprise in a lot of ways, because it seems that in the blue states they tend to spend too much money, and then therefore they have to tax their residents to get back to even. So now let's go to the top 5 in order, again from first to 5th. Number 1 is Alaska. I know, kind of odd, right? Because you think it's so far away and everything costs so much money to get there. But they don't have as many permanent residents. They also don't pay a lot of taxes on property taxes, etc. And everything else is governed by, the oil industry and those kinds of things. So they make a lot of money, and they pay the population a lot of money that if you're an original from that area, if you're part of the Inuit tribes and etc. So that's part of the deal with Alaska. It was noted in the report that a large percentage of their taxpayers get money back every year from the state. So that's always a plus. But anyway, 4.9% is your tax burden. Number 2, Wyoming, very northern red state. at 5.8%. Again, not a huge state for residency. There's not a lot of people that live there. There's only a few major cities. They have some great tourism with the things nearby. So I'm sure that helps offset that. Number 3, and this one was a surprise for me, New Hampshire. I always kind of figured that was really not a great place to live tax burden wise. I'm surprised by this one. And they came in at 5.9%. Number 4, right in the middle of the country, Tennessee. Great location, great area to live generally, good weather for the most part. What's great about Tennessee too is that they have a lot of good things going on for them. They don't seem to overgrow based on things that happen, as in they grow slowly to give their economy a chance to react, I think. I don't know if that's on purpose or just my observation, but 6.4% there. And number 5, the only, I believe, fair weather state besides Tennessee, which is partially, number 5 is Florida, where we're moving to, and my wife is actually already at 6.5%. For Florida, the bigger issue down there is they get a lot of tourism money, and that helps offset a lot of the costs, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good anytime you have tourists that want to come to your state because the weather's great and you've got things to offer. That's good for your state, generally speaking, which is kind of why I'm blown away by California's situation, because they have a lot of things tourist-wise, but they just continue to tax and tax and tax. Same with Illinois. Illinois's got some great areas that you can go and enjoy some very cool things. Chicago, obviously, but it's also a home for a lot of high taxes, horrible education system going on there. They actually are probably going to go bankrupt when it comes to their education system in Chicago alone. They can't keep up, and taxes cannot continue to rise. They're taxing a lot of people out of the state because nobody wants to continue to pay that kind of a tax burden. So, like I said, Illinois came in at number 7 as far as one of the worst. But anyway, you can go on Wallet Hub, check out the article, find out where the state you live in, if that where they rank. Is this a deal breaker for people? Not necessarily. If your house is paid for and you're saving money there, maybe you don't care that your tax burden is a little higher because of your property taxes. But you do need to be aware, and there are options. And the states that don't make you pay income tax is always a benefit. And there's about 8 states that do that. So you need to look at those as possible relocation areas as well. Anyway, don't want to keep rambling. Thanks for watching. Hope I see you next time. Leave a comment down below if you're new here. If you like the content, please subscribe and join us. Thanks.